Alright, let's check the journal. It's new. Hannah met Zachary Steele, a freelance photographer from Luxury Living, an interior design magazine. Zachary was tasked with interviewing Hannah, take pictures of the manor and its new owners. Would have been a professional meeting, or what should have been a professional meeting ended up being friendly and perhaps too personal. I think that's it. That relationship, I guess. Things are looking good with everyone but Isabella and Ashton. That NBD with those two, right? Oh, and Rebecca. How does Rebecca, Marianne, and Zachary have the same levels when only Marianne? I understand like Zachary. I don't know. What past history do those her and Rebecca and her and Zachary have aside from this last thing? Anyway, entering the dining hall causes me so much confusion. It is dark. For a moment, I thought the electric work is not up to par. But that clearly is not the case, as every other room is bright with artificial light. Finding the light switch is a monumental task, considering the size and my unfamiliarity with the room. To make matters worse, the darkness grants the room a different atmosphere, eerie and frightening. It takes longer than I thought to find the switch, something that will have to be rectified later on. My skin starts to prickle, and there is the distinct feeling of being watched. It unsettles me and only spurs me on in my search. And when I do open the lights, there is a hiss.
I'll turn the lights down, woman.
Oh, lovely. He's got a drink in his hand. What is he drinking? It's probably not the green Kool-Aid. There at the end of the hall is my beloved husband with his face in one hand and a glass in the other. Perhaps I can let it go if it's only one glass of wine. I don't know what wine is green, but I want to try some. Uh-oh. However, I feel myself go livid after seeing the toxic green liquid gleaming mockingly at me. So, absinthe. Is absinthe that bright color of green? I don't know.
Luke, what? Are you drinking absinthe?
My God. Look at her. That is hilarious.
You know what the doctor said. Absinthe, Luke.
That wormwood.
Are you actively trying to kill yourself?
Is absinthe particularly bad? I thought modern day absinthe did not have wormwood in it.
Because if you are, we can just hit you with a bloody car.
Honeybee, Buttercup, not too loud, please. Besides, it's Lelouch, not too strong. Just hair of the dog that bit me.
Funny.
Helps with the hangover, dearest.
How is he suddenly hungover?
You drank? When?
This morning, love. Don't be mad.
Like, during the moving? Wow, alcoholic much.
I just needed a few drinks, having to deal with those simpletons.
Oh, those plebs, how horrible for you.
And maybe I had one too much. You don't see me whinging about you leaving me to handle them on my own.
Trying to excuse the alcoholism?
I had to attend the photo shoot and interview with Luxury Living. You know that. Let's not make this about me, Luke. This is about you and your drinking problem and...
Oh, I don't know, Hannah, darling. What if my drinking problem, as you like to call it, is linked to you?
Oh. Uh-oh.
If we think about it that way, this discussion is about you.
That whataboutism.
That was pretty mean of you, leaving me alone to do all the work like that. You can't use the interview as an excuse either, honey.
Maybe he would have liked to have done the interview with the guy that he, called the N-word, and imagine how awkward that would have been. Perhaps hilarious.
I was informed the moment your little interview was done. So, what was it then, What were you doing?
What's it gonna be? Should I tell the truth or tell a little lie? I think telling the truth would be better. I was tending the gardens. He probably already knows that she wasn't since the interview. He knows about the interview being over. So perhaps he has people watching her.
I was talking with Zachary, the photographer for Luxury Living.
Oh, it went down. What does it matter? Just because it goes down because she told the truth. I have no reason to tell lies. It's not like I am guilty of anything. But as Luke's expression turns, he makes me feel like I actually am to blame for something. He has a way of making me laid bare with just a look. What? That really struck me when we first met years ago.
That giant Negro? You were having a secret meeting behind my back and it was with him?
What are you implying?
Oh, funny.
I'm implying nothing. I'm just worried. You know better than to trust those media types, Buttercup. He must have been really friendly to occupy your time like that.
Especially those black media types, right?
But all he's looking for is his next big headline.
He's a photographer for an interior design magazine.
Doesn't matter. You let one little thing slip, one wrong move, and it'll blow up in the telly in the morning. He'll go to his journalist friends to gossip and make a quick quid.
His eyes were the first thing I noticed about him. They were like natural. What? They were like nature, the grass and the trees, wonderful and breathtaking. A bit like the absinthe, huh? Now, as I look at him, they're nothing but the same shade of green as the bloody damn drink in his hand. Ah, that is awesome.
He was a perfect gentleman, Luke. I can't say the same for you as of recent.
Excuse me again? We're talking about you, Hannah.
Stop changing the subject, Hannah. Jeez.
No, I am pretty sure we were talking about you and your drinking problem, Luke, right?
Hangover forgotten during the course of this little spat, the man jumps to his feet and seethes. Looks like he is barely stopping himself from throwing the nearest thing he can find.
Oh, it is not a problem. I can stop whenever I want. And even if it was, I think you can very well stay out of it, as it only affects my own kidneys or liver or whatever the bloody hell that shite pollutes.
He doesn't even know? My goodness.
Whatever aftermath that occurs because of your little chit-chat with the Negro affects the both of us, however.
Look, Luke, nothing will happen. You have to relax. It was just a friendly chat.
Well, now I think I'm getting jealous.
Oh no, talking about interior design and photography. How terrible.
Or I would be if it weren't for this damn headache.
What if, because she said as of recent he wasn't acting quite the same, what if it has something to do with the house? Ooh, what if something really bad happened at the house? Like there was the couple whose painting is in the foyer of the house. What if they're kinda, oh my god, they're both blonde just like that couple in the foyer. And what if it's kind of playing out how it did for them, like for the original couple, and it's playing out for the rights in about the same way. The husband becoming an alcoholic and getting jealous. I mean, he probably already had the makings of alcoholism, but it's just like moving here and the curse has pushed him even further. Oh, what if it's a double curse, living at the mansion plus seeing the letter? Something bad's gonna happen to her, like whatever happened to the original wife. Well, I guess we'll see in about 6 or 7 or 8 hours.
Maybe you should drink more.
Maybe.
Supper is spent in silence with nothing but the occasional sound of silverware. A grand feast has been served, well, grander than usual anyway, because most likely due to Luke's complaints of stress. A platter of native oysters for starters, and tranche of turbot with purple, sprouting broccoli, lemon, capers, and anchovy sauce for mains. To finish it all off, black tea and golden syrup sponge pudding with custard. Seems odd to have black tea at night. I mean, doesn't it have a lot of caffeine? But when our appetites are appeased and the plates are cleared away, Luke stands, kisses me goodnight, and leaves me to stare at my half-empty cup. Lonely in the lull of night, I sit in a house too big and empty, foreign and unwelcoming, and think of a certain photographer. Even with its warm tone and homely decor, it feels cold. There is no need for tears, however. I know I can get through this like every other obstacle I've faced before. This is a minor setback, and what I hope will be a long and happy life. To remind myself that this place is for Luke and for our future children fills me with a renewed vigor. Besides, it looks like someone is having a cry already. The wailing is far away and muffled. Yet at the same time, it shakes me to my very core as I hear it, as if the suffering is just standing right beside me. Hearing it sends a chill down my spine and makes my skin prickle with goosebumps. Who is that? All the staff went home already. Uh-oh. Curiosity sinks in as I follow the sorrowful sound into the kitchen. And into the wine cellar hatch, oh my god.
Hello? Is anybody down there?
I am curious and concerned, but there's no way I'm going down there into a dark and humid underground. Bravo. I'm not as enthusiastic as Luke, who considers himself quite the connoisseur of dark, damp places. However, I also cannot bring myself to go to bed with this racket going on. If it is one of the household help, they will surely need some talking, and a good scolding and perhaps a spanking. After all, this wouldn't be the first time I've gone and found one of the maids sobbing their eyes out over one thing or another. As professional as our staff are, they are still human. More often than not, it was either Johans or I who calmed them down, who'd help them figure out how to go on about things. What is that? Keep calm and carry on. Stiff upper lip? I don't know. Unfortunately, I'm not in high spirits right now, so I'm not as woolly benevolent. So I will... I'm not going to open the hatch. I'm just going to call them out. I mean, I think we probably lost Isabella. Might as well try to keep Hannah going. I knock 3 times. Waiting for any sort of reply yields me no results, and I've already touched the floor hatch far too many times than what I'd like. I clicked it. I take a deep breath before reaching out again to whoever's inside. I've learned from experience that people respond better to kindness than threats. Shouting angrily would not help in coaxing them out.
You, in the cellar? Do come out. We don't want Luke waking up and finding you in there, do we? That man would go ballistic thinking someone was trying to steal his precious wine.
That's not very kind. That's definitely sounds like threats. Still nothing.
You can have a good cry. Just not in there, yes?
Maybe go to your own house.
Why don't you come out here and we can have a cuppa and you can tell me all about whatever it is you're bawling about.
Cuppa. Okay. Tell me she's an orc. With how long I am standing here, however, I am starting to think myself a fool. I did not want to acknowledge the other feeling I have, especially as the wailing took an eerie turn. Thought of being played with didn't sit too well with me, and I had to stop myself from getting too hot-headed as I try one more time.
Now you come out of there! That is an order from the lady of the house, do you hear me?
Oh, it's that face again.
Why, I ought to...
I freeze as a hand clamps down on my shoulder. The dread I've been feeling all this time makes itself known as I kneel, unmoving, not even daring to breathe. I can feel my heart pounding against my chest. But the touch is gone as quickly as it had seized me. It is oh, oh my god, what was that? All right. Perhaps I'll edit that out. It is only Johann's, I see when I look back.
Apologies, madam, for touching you like that.
Still too familiar, Hansi.
You were not responding to my voice, and you looked about ready to wake the whole mansion up.
I was... I'm sorry. I was getting rather loud, wasn't I? But that crying woman in there, we must do something about her.
He grows silent for a moment and just looks concerned. At least, I'd like to interpret it as concerned, given how stoic our head butler usually is. Or rather, it must have been concern as he takes off a glove and presses the back of his hand to my forehead before his worrisome inquiry.
I beg your pardon. What crying woman? Are you feeling well, madam?
Seriously? That seems like an overreaction. Like, oh, what crying woman? You must be sick. I don't hear any crying woman.
In the cellar? Can't you hear her?
Madam, Hannah, no one is down there.
What?
The cellar is locked. Only Luke and I have duplicates of the keys.
Oh my god. He is helping Luke, covering for Luke, who's got a woman trapped down there. Oh, have we seen Marianne? It's Marianne, isn't it? We haven't seen her.
Nobody is down there.
I stare at him in disbelief. But when I listen once more, I hear no crying. Tugging at the hatch for good measure prove his words are to be true, too. So if we tried it before, I bet it would have opened. The thing won't budge unless I had a key, short of using power tools on it.
Perhaps it is time for you to go to bed, madam. You are simply tired and hearing things, a perfectly normal human experience. But if you are still experiencing auditory hallucinations in the morning, you are free to consult with me.
Yes, consult with him that there is totally not a woman locked up in the cellar. There is a cold feeling in the pit of my stomach as he helps me up to my feet. What he says makes sense, and who am I to question someone who used to be a doctor? He used to be a doctor, and now he's a butler? What? I am just tired, that's it. Long day moving, the interview, dealing with Luke, that has all drained me of any proper sense.
Yes, I suppose you're right. I just need some sleep, that's all.
Of course I'm right. Go on then. Gute Nacht.
Good night, Johannes. Good night, house.
Uh-huh. It's just fatigue. That's what I keep telling myself, although I can't ignore the strange feeling in my gut. Either there is something wrong with this house, or there is something wrong with my head. Sleep will be elusive tonight. Friday, October 28th. Luke is already gone by the time I rise, and probably already drinking. There isn't a single hide nor hair of him to be found. Trying to call him on his mobile is a bust, as it only goes straight to his voicemail. That's twice in a row he's gone on me. And for him to disappear today of all days is a bit upsetting because of what's to come. Morning is once again filled with a whirlwind of activity. Fortunately, I am much more refreshed as I took a break from my responsibilities. I haven't the faintest clue where Luke was yesterday. Today is going to be a busy day, although unlike Wednesday, the master of the house isn't here right now, absent once again from his duties. I thought we already established he was gone. Hopefully he'll be back in time for the party. This is our house after all. A grand housewarming party for the wonderful Wright mansion. Every person of importance from Luxborn is invited, and there will be a few guests flying in as well. Of course, there will be some people from the media, along with friends and acquaintances who are made no less who are made no less important, regardless of their status in society. Oh, Marianne is not locked in the basement. Good. Marianne and I discuss business, and why is she clenching her fists like that? My goodness. Last minute touches to the house before finalizing everything. Not that there is much change from our original plans. Bar any huge additions to the property itself, the mansion is nearly 100% complete.
You have certainly exceeded expectations, Marianne. Everything looks so marvelous, and in such a short time, too.
You know, it's like she wants to keep the coat, but she doesn't want to wear it. But she doesn't want to hang it up because... who knows?
Well, I can't take all of the credit. People have certainly been enthusiastic about the idea of working on the right mansion.
It's because it's the right mansion.
There won't be any more problems unless Mr. Wright has any more objections about the second bedroom.
Luke and I had a small tiff about making the second bedroom into a child's playroom, which I insisted is completely practical, and not, letting it be a wine lounge room. In the end, he had acquiesced. I didn't give him any choice in the matter. I even bought this wonderful wooden crib from the antique store yesterday, including some toys. Just in case anyone brings their baby, of course. Besides, we have little need for actual guest rooms. We hardly have guests who spend the night. If we absolutely have to, we often choose to foot the bill for their visit on one of our hotels instead, always at Luke's own insistence. Don't want people staying the night, just rather pay for them to stay somewhere else. That is about totally what I would do if I had that kind of money. And on the off chance that we actually let someone stay in the bedroom in the opposite wing is still up to the task.
Oh, no. We proceed with that room as planned. I already agreed to him having his greenhouse and his vineyard and his stables. He may as well let me have this one thing.
Stables. Just wants to have horses to say they have horses, but don't actually want to take care of them or have anything to do with them. And a greenhouse and vineyard for that matter, although I imagine he'll be very much involved in that vineyard. No, I did not agree to him having a helipad.
All right, then.
Full body nod. So very weird.
Well, do we have any other concerns? Anything we need to put on our agenda before the party commences?
No, I don't think so. Not unless Luke has anything else to say.
Is he around then? It'd be best if we can note down his requests right away, considering the scope of his usual ones.
Around? No. Where is he? Who knows where? I don't.
No, he's not around.
She didn't have to point out the obvious now, did she? After 7 long years, I've already gotten used to him. I should be by now. Still not, apparently.
But don't you have a party?
Oh, yeah, just rub it in. Just rub that salt into the wound, Marianne. Thank you. I want nothing more than to complain, to whinge about how unfair this is. However, airing out one's dirty laundry is simply taboo among high society. To do so will make you a ripe target for the next dinner party chit-chat. Vultures, a lot of them, really. For most of them, at least. Not you, Marianne, you're special. There are always good ones, like Rochelle Lee. But put your trust in the wrong person, you'll find yourself eagerly picked apart.
Yes. But Luke's just being a sweetie, you see.
Him not being around to make things stressful is actually a good thing.
That friend he's visiting, he's having marital problems and he's just trying to cheer him up.
Perhaps I'm being a bit too rash, a bit too hot-headed in divulging details. Oh my god, he's helping the whoever with marital problems, helping to cheer them up by getting into bed? I don't know, maybe I'm just jumping to conclusions. But I thought myself clever with a plan to dress it up as gossip. Marianne's raised brow makes me unsure whether she is interested or not. Although that does make things better if she has no interest and therefore has no hidden intent to utilize whatever I might say to her.
They've been married for a long time and they've hit a how do they say it? A rough patch. His wife has a drinking problem and can be very neglectful. The poor thing really does his best to be a good husband.
Reverse projection.
But it's never enough for her. Sometimes I think it's the years. Maybe it's been so long that they've lost that romantic spark.
I mean, it seems like a relationship lasts long enough and that easily happens, and then it's a matter of rekindling the spark, or I was trying to think of a different analogy than that rather well-used one.
What do you think?
You were asking for my personal opinion on the matter, ma'am?
It's gonna cost.
Do you want me to be honest, or...
Do I want her to be honest? Ooh, I don't know. She's... Sure, be honest with me.
Be honest with me, Marianne. I don't need someone to sugarcoat it.
Wow, that was a plus with Marianne. I thought that was going to be a negative.
I'm not some fragile thing that I'm just going to break down at the slightest thing.
She hesitates, taking a sip of her coffee, while I stare down into my own cup of tea. Silence stretches on, and I almost believe that she will never answer my question. I suppose that I shouldn't blame her, putting her in a tight spot like that. Her hesitation is understandable, though I loathe to admit it. She simply wants this whole thing to stay professional. But then she speaks.
If I'm going to be completely honest, I need to ask. This is about you and Mr. Wright, isn't it?
It's so obvious, even she's picked up on it. It's my turn to hesitate now. I really didn't expect such a straightforward question. And to get to the heart of the matter, I suppose I'm not as clever as I'd like to think. Or is it really that bad that an outsider can see our little marital troubles? Surely we aren't that obvious, are we? She should do that undercover boss thing, but instead of, like, going to one of her businesses, she talks to the staff. She poses as a maid to see if the staff can pick up on her marital problems. That would do it. We've put up the act of a perfect couple for years, although it hadn't always been an act. Marianne is just more keen than the average person, of course. There's no way anyone else picked up on it, especially the staff. It is a necessity to her career, and she's been working so closely with us. Yes, that's it. She's just particularly bright and clever and keen, sharp and pointy? I don't know.
Suppose it is. What would you tell me?
I had to scratch my eye.
Then, I tell you it's none of my business. I tell you that I don't want to meddle.
Whoa.
But, if the troubled husband with the neglectful wife asked me for my honest opinion, I'd say that he shouldn't base his happiness and his self-worth on someone else.
Especially that neglect. Oh, okay. I get it. I thought she was like talking to the neglectful wife, but no, it's the husband that's, yeah.
Someone who won't even give him the time of the day. Maybe he should try being independent for a while. See what it's like when he isn't trying to please someone else and doing things for himself. Everyone's supposed to be their own man or woman, right? A bit of breathing room never hurt anyone. That's just my 2 pence worth, of course.
So you're saying they should divorce?
Nothing as drastic as that.
God's the whole cost of it.
If they're afraid that it might lead to just that, then maybe that is what's meant to happen in the first place. We shouldn't let our fear control our lives. But it's just a short hiatus is all. Or, couples therapy? Look, I'm really not the best person to ask about relationships. So grain of salt and all that.
I'm gonna guess she's bad with relationships. She trails off, having said her piece, and then leaves me nothing but the smell of coffee and Earl Grey between us. There's a calm despite the nature of what has just been discussed. To say that her words make me start to think is an understatement. To say that I'm not considering her advice is a lie. To say that this might just be the calm before the storm is a possibility. Others have had shorter marriages, yes, but plenty have celebrated long and happy ones as well. My own parents celebrated their choral anniversary before they passed away. What is choral anniversary? But 7 years. 7 years isn't a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. It isn't a whole lot of time to see what and where our relationship can bring us. And at the same time, 7 years, well, it hasn't been entirely made up of unhappy years, has it? It won't last forever. It's not supposed to, anyway. I just dread the thought that it might last for a very long time. What? I dread the thought that these small spats, these little disagreements will turn into an all-out resentment. The idea that we will grow to hate each other with every fiber of our being scares me. I can't even pinpoint the exact moment when our blissful union turned sour. We can get through this, right? I know that I still do love him, and I feel that there is still a part of him that loves me in return. Just need to get our heads together and talk it out. Surely he will see some sense. There is a cough before Marianne clears her throat. I must have been quiet for so long, and I move to apologize when she stands up. We both end up on our feet, unsure of how to proceed. Some sort of odd, awkward shuffle occurs as we decide whether to sit back down or not.
I really should handle what's left of the work.
You won't be attending the party? Oh, you really must, Marianne.
I'll try to stay and chat. Maybe grab a few bites and a drink, but I can't be around for the entirety of the event. My apologies. Busy, busy, busy.
You must stay a while. I'd love for you to meet some of my friends, and they're ever so excited to meet you. You need to say hello to the Lees, at least. If it wasn't for them, I'd never even heard of you.
We'll see. So, if I can be excused?
She has to ask permission?
Certainly. You'll have to excuse me as well. I must attend to the party before any early birds arrive. Because, believe me, they will throw a fuss if things aren't ready, even when they're not supposed to be here until an hour later.
Oh my god, rich people, right? The scene outside the parlor is a great organized mess. Aside from our own household help, we hired the service of the temp agency, which provides staff for a right enterprise in the hospitality sector. Even our very skilled staff cannot undertake a party of this size on their own. Waiters, busboys, hostesses, and their staff captains move about in droves, carrying crockery and serveware, good for several dozen people and then some. Chefs and bartenders tail after Johans, looking like scared little children as he escorts them through the kitchen and into the wine cellar. To peruse the stocks to select what can be served at the party and what can be used for cooking.
Schnell! We have a lot to do, and I believe we did not hire snails. Snails are for the dishes.
A string quartet readies up to play for the evening, tuning their instruments as they fill the air with idle chatter. Floral decor where thousands fill vases, wreaths, and baskets while petals are scattered along the driveway up front. An ice sculpture of a reindeer is brought in carefully by a pair. It is followed by a simple cake, just a 5-tier white chiffon one with white chocolate mousse, fresh berries, and a light dusting of edible gold leaf. But despite the fact that I told Marianne how I feel, how I will attend to all this, I find myself unable to focus or care for any of it. Okay, I think that's a good place to stop for now.